So this is the day after the first burn. I'm going to take a couple things apart here. I'm going to lower the strong plates. I'm going to show you inside of the burner. I'm going to look around a few things I've noticed and just guide you through a few things here. So let's lower the plate. So you just lower the plate. It just lowers it just enough. It's on a hinge in the back here. And if I can show you, there's just a little gap between the cylinder, the stainless steel cylinder that's 4-inch, and the top of the pot. It's just enough to slide out. So I'm going to slide it out here. Make sure my locking mechanism's open. Slide it out. Now here's the pot. Now the oil comes down here. It goes into the angle iron and pours into the center of the pot. It's a little wet right now. There's oil dripping right there. So I gotta watch my valve. My valve seems to have failed me here. It's tight, but it seems to still drip a little bit. But that was only a cheap valve there. I bought at Canadian Tire, about $1. I'm gonna get a good valve, one meant for oil and high temperatures as well. So that's what it is. You gotta clean it out every 24-48 hours from the burn. Just want to show you that. So I line it back up again, the mark I have. What was that? So then I just thread that up. Now I'm going to give it a quick adjustment before it gets too tight. So now I can feel a little bit of tension. I'm going to stop right there. It's locked, it's not moving. So I'm going to bring it in through here, the top. I'm going to check through the little inspection plate here I made at the top. Okay, now there's a baffle in here I wanted to show everybody. As you can see, there's 4 long threaded rods. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those go to the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That plate right there, that's a floating plate I made. It floats on top of 1-inch outside diameter mild steel tubing. It's approximately 3 inches long, and it just floats there. The tubes just sit in, obviously they're dropped down on the threaded rod, and it sits at the bottom right here of this brake drum, and it comes up here, and then there's the baffle here, and there you can see the ring. There it is. That's the ring, so it's almost level about here. And that forces the flame, when it hits that metal, it forces it on the side of the brake drum to heat the brake drum. So you just don't have flames just blowing around the center. You want to superheat the brake drums. So I put that in. And that was an easy fix there, an easy job. But if it burns out, I mean, you can always just take a look and maybe double it up, thicken it, or put a really thick plate in there, find something else. But we're going to try that out. The inspection plate here I also made very tight. I don't want any sort of fumes coming out. It sits pretty much perfectly on the outside edge here. So that's tightened up. And I also noticed that my oil distributing little gizmo here has got a little bit of shine to it. You can see it right here on the outside edges. You can even see the V shape. If you look at it just right there, it is. So it's almost like the oil is saturating the threads. It's coming through at a very slow rate. And in hindsight now, I probably should have brazed these right here where the threads go in. But I torqued these on really tight. I guess the oil just leaks right through those threads. I also noticed that there's a little bit of oil here on the steel, very little. It's just a sheen. Now that's a very old brake line. It comes from a Volkswagen Beetle, 1974. Just had the spare brake line, so I decided to use it. I don't know if it's pitted or if it's sweating through the brake line. Now this copper line is almost as hot, and it's not sweating at all. There's no oil on this, but there's a greasy sheen on it. Now I don't want that to build up or ignite because the flash point's around 250, 300. And I definitely don't want just to burst into flames. So I'm going to look into this too. As you can see, a couple little adjustments. I was hit and miss there. I'm going to try the copper pipe. I don't like the copper idea because as you slide it in, you might bend it if this doesn't line up. So maybe the steel again. Maybe it's the braze here that's leaking down. Maybe it's actually coming through the threads and then just leaking down. I can't say for certain. I'll go overkill on the next one. I'm just going to cut those little welds off. I just weld it there. I'll do it again. But that's it. I also had a little leak coming from this side here. It looked like fumes coming out. I guess the oil was running through the inside and then was leaking down the edge, and it was climbing out. I guess there was a crack in the weld, or it wasn't fully sealed, and it was just leaking through, kind of like this. It was just steaming off. So I used some braze there, brazing rod, and I brazed it. There's no more leak anymore. I'm going to grind it down, clean it up. Just trying to eliminate every little hazard that I can see. So I'm going through each and every one. Hopefully it helps everybody if they're going to plan on making one. You got to pay attention, you got to look at it, you got to scrutinize every little detail because you're dealing with fire here and it's very hot. So that's something you want to mess around with, right? Hot oil. Anyway, so that's the breakdown. Next video I'll try to put a video of the smoke because it's little to no smoke, and that'll be the next video just so you can really see how clean it's burning. Alright, free 8.